Hey, what's up guys, it's Liam Weagle on your Overwatch, back with a new video. Today we're going to be talking about what is the best new carry DPS hero in the Season 10 meta, and that is Hanzo. Now we won't be talking about how to aim specifically today because we've done that in the past, but I have a lot of other tips and advice on how you can utilize him in your games because he's really seriously awesome right now after all the buffs and stuff that he has received. Now remember, as always, the gameplay in the background will be from a mixture of ranks, mostly on my placements on my Diamond, Masters and GM accounts. I think that the biggest buff that went through kind of under a lot of people's radars was the change to the speed that his arrows travel at. So I've always utilized Hanzo on points like Hanamura first, where you can get up into the window and hit some shots. Whether it be scatter or a chunky headshot, I've always utilized him in that way. Well, now his job at that is so much better and also a lot easier for more people to access. So as I climb up into this window in traditional fashion with the new kit, you can instantly see that the enemy are running a Season 10 meta comp and none of them can actually get to the high ground. So as soon as I get up here, it is pretty much a free shot on anyone that I can land it on. You'll see that I pick out the Brigitte straight away and I decide to not use my new arrow. Now what you can do with the rapid shot is you can hit a normal body shot and then just kind of spam in somebody's direction and you're pretty much going to guarantee a kill. Some people said they didn't want scatter because it felt like free kills, but honestly this new ability kind of is that too. Now eventually the Zarya fires at me to get me off the high ground, but it doesn't really matter, and even though I didn't hit as many shots as I could have here, it's just a free point. And that's the thing about Hanzo right now. A lot of his counters are not being played, and his ranged damage that he can use by using his new and already existing movement just creates problems for Bridget, Zarya's, Ryan's on the ground. They just can't really get to him. So if you can just hit some shots, it's really powerful. Now the rapid shot ability is not only used for getting these mid-ranged pickoffs, it's also really good at shield break. Now it's not as good as a Bastion, but if you fire all of his arrows into a shield, it does 480 damage. If you also fire off a normal arrow before you set off that ability, it's 605 damage. One thing I would advise that you try to fit into your arsenal when you play the new Hanzo is what I'm still working on too. Firing that initial normal arrow that you pull back and then you roll it into the new ability. That way it's very hard for people to react and the burst damage just goes up and up and up. Remember that this ability is on an 8-second cooldown, so you're going to be able to use it all the time, but something that people don't realize is that when you activate it you still have 8 seconds to fire all of these shots. This gives you a couple of different opportunities. If a Tracer or a Genji is in your backline and you really need to scare them off and try and kill them quickly, this ability is great for spam use. You can send all 6 bullets at them very quickly or a couple of shots and then try to relocate your target and then maybe 2 more. But remember that at a long distance, if you can hit some headshots with it, it's way better to be sparing with it. You don't have to fire all 6 shots, but it gives you 6 insta-fire arrows. So you can utilize them over the 8 seconds to get pickoffs like normal arrows, but they're actually more reliable. The general rule is the closer that someone is, the more likely you are to need to spam it. Now another misconception about this new ability too is its difference from scatter arrow. And if you're really good and competent with the shots, you'll see that if you get close enough to a tank, you're just going to shred them, especially if you have Discord on the map from a Zenyatta. You can get in the face of something and just do tons and tons of damage. Orion does not want to drop his shield when you're doing this. He wants to just back up and run away, but because of your new movement and ability, it gives you an opportunity again to be more aggressive than Hanzo ever was. all parts of his kit got buffs. So now he's just very, very fluid all the time. You have these options to get up to the high ground or stand with your team and pick something off from a distance. You can help them shield break if you like. And don't forget the Dragon Strike. His ultimate is incredibly powerful. One thing it does well is gets people off guard. You can shoot it through walls and you'll always guarantee a kill or two when you get competent with that. But Zarya's also pretty good in this meta. And with the increased numbers of Bridgets and the lack of Zenyatas and Lucios, Graviton with Hanzo's ultimate is back to being a top of the meta team wipe because there is not enough healing or resistance to outlive it. It will even go through Bridget's ultimate, which everyone's saying is really strong, maybe even OP. Well, this combo will also burn through that. Now, before we get on to his matchups, because they've changed a lot too, I just want to mention to always respect the Hanzo. When I made a video before about how to aim with him, I said, you gotta respect Hanzo, because if you don't, he will punish you. And one thing that the new Hanzo does as well with his arrows and their travel speed is it allows them to basically be hit scan at close range. They travel so fast now, there's basically no compensation needed at close range. So even though his counters, Genji and Tracer, are picked less, he's also significantly stronger against them than he used to be. If a Tracer comes in the back line or a Genji tries to blade you and you pop that new ability, again, it's better than Scatter Arrow was. A Tracer does not want to be blinking around you while you're firing off these really fast arrows all the time that, by the way, can one-shot her, and Genji does not want to come at you with that same risk either. Really, really strong against them, and you have to respect the fact that he can just delete your team in 1, 2, 3. That simple. Whether it's with his normal arrow or his new ability, you have to respect it, and you cannot let a Hanzo go uncontested, and especially when a Mercy may be pocketing him, because that duo is the strongest combo in the game right now. So finally, I want to talk a little bit about matchups, and there's one very interesting one, which is Pharah, because Pharah's very strong as well against all of this ground-based DPS and support lines. It's basically free kills for her. And one thing that people always struggle with is countering her, and a lot of people still have the misconception that McCree and Soldier are a great answer to her, which I don't think's been true in a very long time. Soldier's probably slightly better than McCree, but Hanzo, again with these new arrows, is a fairly viable counter to Pharah. She has to respect it. Yes, she can stay at a distance, but Hanzo just puts out more frequent damage all of the time, and a Hanzo is not scared to shoot at a Pharah in the sky anymore again, especially when pocketed by that Mercy. She has to respect it, and if she gets too close to him, she just doesn't move fast enough. It's pretty much a free shot. It's just a floating bird in the sky. Super powerful against that. We've also spoke about how he's good. Tracer and Genji are also pretty scared to get too close to him. In fact, one of the only heroes I think you should be a little bit scared of is Soldier, especially at medium range, because he's not necessarily super easy to hit. He has his sprint ability, and of course he can heal himself. Hit scan is more reliable at the range as well, and getting chunked by a Helix rocket for Hanzo is very, very scary. So you've got to be careful of that matchup, but in general, he's just strong against everyone. And with all of this said, we haven't even really spoke about his movement ability, which gets him further away from Winstons or Divas that want to chase him, and also gets him into a fight, and he can just pop round the corner with his new ability and just delete you. He also has Sonic Arrow, by the way, and can tell your team where the enemies are setting up. Hanzo is insane right now, guys, so some things to remember when picking him. he isn't unstoppable. If someone does start respecting the Hanzo, and pouncing him and taking him out of the fight becomes a liability. You have to be getting the right angles or staying with the team and hitting the shots. If not, same as every carry hero, it is a throw if you just pick him and whiff all day. You can't do that. You also have to be very careful that you're not playing him on maps where it's hard to utilize him, although that's not many right now. Sometimes Hanzo isn't the utility you want. You may need Junkrat to spam the enemy team down, or maybe your Hanzo isn't quite good enough, so you need to run Genji to counter theirs instead. Context always matters with this kind of stuff, guys, but Hanzo is better in every single way, and also a lot easier for everybody. He's just easier to hit them shots with now. The arrow buff was really the only one he needed, and giving him basically a more reliable scatter is insane. So guys, let us know what you think in the comment section down below. Have you been playing the new Hanzo, or has this video inspired you to? Be sure to drop a like, as it does help us out and lets us know you're enjoying the content, and you're going to want to hit that bell icon so you get notified when our videos go live. You should have a great day as always. Take care and peace, people.